So, you like bleed. Well, I got some bad news for you. There aren't too many E.G.Os that can help you with bleed. But, I got some good news. Because today we're going to be covering one of those E.G.Os. And that E.G.O is Sinclair's Impending Day. Impending Day is a 10th level E.G.O. It has blunt damage and a 28 base with a negative 8 roll. Now, having a negative roll on the base of a 10th, that is not very good. But, what is good is if your target has below 25% HP, deal plus 40% damage. That is a good thing to have. And on kill, you gain 1 attack power up next turn. That's good, that's respectable. On kill, heal all enemy allies for 15% of their max HP. That is good. These are both really good effects. The only thing that's bad is that they're on kill, which is sometimes pretty hard to pull off. Speaking of on kill, your passive Live Offering. After your enemy is defeated with an attack or a counter skill, gain 5 E.G.O resources of that skill's affinity. So, this passive is great, especially if you're running a solo. But even if you're not, it's still very good if you have a strong Sinclair ID that can get kills efficiently. It costs you 20 sanity to use this E.G.O. That's not very special, right? For most tests, it costs you that. But 3 Wrath and 2 Lust to use, that's pretty easy to gain, especially if you're using N-Corp Sinclair. Which is probably, no problems about it, that is the EID that this E.G.O is meant for. Because you'll have negative rolls in the base and the corrosion. So, N-Corp Sinclair is the ID to bring, I suppose. Which is the second time that a Sinclair ID has preferred N-Corp Sinclair. But I think we're noticing a trend. I think we're noticing a very interesting trend. So, your resistances will change to ineffective to Wrath. Sloth will become fatal, and so will Gloom. Which is, well, the basic for Teth, right? 2 fatals, 1 ineffective. Don't know what else I could say about that. If you decide to corrode Impending Day, you will have the same attack weight, same damage type, and same roll. That is pretty odd. Pretty odd indeed. But you will get an upgrade because if your target is below 25% HP, deal plus 50% damage instead of plus 40% damage this time. On kill, no, on failed kill this time, you'll gain 10 bleed next turn. Well, this E.G.O inflicts bleed, just not the way you were hoping. And failed kill, you'll gain 3 attack power up next turn. That's good. 10 bleed for 10 bleed, which is just 10 damage most of the time, for 3 attack power up. That's a good trade. That's a really, really, really good trade, if I had to say it, and I am. So, let's wrap it up with a review of the drip. And the drip is, I hate to say it, but this is the second time Sinclair has had pretty bad drip. Because it's just base Sinclair, but with a little bit of meat tendrils on them. I like the weapon, don't get me wrong. But the base is just Sinclair meat tendrils, and the corrosion is pretty much him with a little more meat tendrils, and the weapon's a little different. Which is really disappointing, because this E.G.O is, I was hoping that we would be able to get it higher in the drip score than the base E.G.O, but I guess we can't. So I'll rate this at a whopping like 2, just to put it above the base E.G.O. Say what you want about this E.G.O, but it does have a pretty respectable strength. Giving yourself either 1 or 3 attack power up next turn, which can be useful, very useful, especially if you're using N-Corp Sinclair, which you will be getting negative coins, and you will most likely roll a negative on this coin, because N-Corp Sinclair, negative coin ID, negative coin E.G.O, and that's good, that's really good. So, strength, I'd say like, I'd say it's good, but it's not that good. So put her at like 6. It's good, but it's not that good. Not like crazy. Especially since you need to rely on an ID specifically to get the coin or not get the coin, I suppose. Which really throws this E.G.O off because it's a Teth, and for Teths you do not want negative coins. Like, you really don't. And that's what put this E.G.O to 6. It would probably be 8, possibly, if it didn't have that, if it was like a positive coin, but it's not. So 6 it is. And the usefulness. Well, this E.G.O is it's not very useful. You can heal your allies, you can gain some E.G.O resources, and that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. You can become a little stronger next turn, which I suppose is pretty darn good. So, all those things evening out will give you probably like 6 on the usefulness. It's definitely carried by the passive and the attack power-ups that you gain, and healing your allies is always useful. So 6 is where this E.G.O will sit in terms of usefulness. But yeah,